Hey, welcome to Dre's Take. All right, so this week the stellar MLS numbers for the month of March have arrived. Let's comb over these and I'll give you Dre's take on what it means for the Central Florida market and for you. Okay, so the first metric we're gonna look at is active listings. Currently sitting just above 37,000, which is down 1% from last month. The next metric we're gonna look at is new listings, sitting just over 20,000, 20,422 to be specific, which is an increase of 18% from last month. However, that's down 11% year over year. Now, these next two metrics are really important and we'll discuss how they relate to the first two metrics right after. Pending sales are up 11% month over month, down just 11% year over year. Now, as for sales that actually closed in the month of March, that number was 17,222, which is up 37% month over month. This is by far the most important metric on this report, as it shows that demand is picking up quite considerably. When you compare the number of sales in the month of March to the number of new listings in the month of March, you'll see that they're basically neck and neck, which means every time new inventory hits the market, there's demand there to pick it up. And so the amount of inventory doesn't get a chance to increase. That's keeping our month's worth of supply or inventory metric extremely low. You'll see here it's just 2 months, down from 3 months worth of inventory in February. This is important because this number represents whether we're in a buyer's market or a seller's market or which way that we're trending. Anything under 5 or 6 months is historically considered a seller's market. Now, we've seen that number creep up from just 3 weeks to 1 month to 2 months, got all the way up to 3 and almost 4 months for a little while there. And as that number was trending upward, there may be pause for concern to say, hey, what's going on with the market? Maybe we're flipping to a buyer's market. And for a little while there, we did have the room to do a little extra negotiating and whatnot, especially in the slower season, the holiday season, December, January, etc. But now that we've hit the spring and summer buying season, we're seeing that demand come out in full force, up 37% month over month. And now that month's worth of inventory is trickling back down to just 2 months worth of supply. It's this dramatic lack of inventory that's keeping the market buoyed. This is why we haven't seen any dramatic fall or crash of the real estate market, and why, in my opinion, we won't. This balance between increasing demand and low supply is keeping the average sales price elevated. You'll see that we're up 2% month over month and 3% year over year. That means that the home prices are continuing to accelerate. It may not be 20% or 22% like we've seen in 2020 or 2021, but nonetheless, if you go back and look at some of my earlier videos, I said that this is exactly what would happen. Inventory would remain low, and as a result, the price points or home values would continue to rise, albeit at a slower pace, 3 or 4% or so. Well, that's kind of what we're seeing here. Active days on market sits at 50, which is unchanged from last month and up 163% from last year. Now, obviously, right around this time last year is when rates started to increase, and we were seeing kind of a hangover from 2021 where people were rushing to buy before the interest rates shot through the roof again. And so homes were flying off the shelves in just 3-4 days, a week or so, and that average time on market was only 19 days. That was unnormal. Let's just say that. 50 days is more traditional. If you go back throughout the history of real estate, a home to take 2 months or 3 months to sell was absolutely normal. That's what you would see in a balanced market. So an average days on market number of 50 days or so is still a relatively great figure. We're seeing inflation and the jobs market cool, which I believe will lead the Fed to taper back their rate hikes, which will indirectly impact mortgage rates as they go back to the more normal 175, 200 basis points over whatever the 10-year Treasury note is, which is at about 3.5 right now. So rates really should not be above 5.5. It's just the speculation and the fear that's in the market that's pushed them up into the mid-6s where they sit right now. As inflation continues to cool and the Fed backs off of their rate hikes, I anticipate that those mortgage rates will come down. So in conclusion here, what this means for you is if you're a seller There is not enough inventory right now. It is still a great time to get your home on the market. It will be snapped up. It may not be a week or two like it was 2 years ago. It may take a month or two to get sold, but that's traditional, that's normal. You'll still fetch a great value for your property, and there is still a ton of demand out there despite what the media and negative news outlets say. If you're a buyer, the news here is don't wait. And the reason I say don't wait is because if you're waiting for rates to go down, there are millions of buyers that are all playing the same game as you. They're waiting for those interest rates to come down, and they're going to flood into the market and make a purchase as well. When that happens, pricing is going to shoot through the roof. And even with the elevated interest rates, the lack of supply right now is what's keeping the price points elevated, actually rising to 2% month over month. So waiting for a lower interest rate really isn't going to save you. You're just going to end up with a lower interest rate at a higher purchase price, whereas you can get the asset now at a lower purchase price and then refinance if and when those rates drop. If there's anything I can do to help you with a sale or a purchase, I'm always happy to help. Andre Berry, Home Expo Realty. All right now, y'all. That's Dre's take. Take care.